So, stream. Art thou live? I should probably turn up my mic some more. Okay. Let me mute my stream. Audio is working. Good and cool. Okay. I'm gonna be gaming. Well, I won't be gaming, but we'll be watching. We'll be watching some good gaming. Question is, which match do I want? Sorry, that might have been loud. Dude. Okay, so I know I keep on going on about how I don't I'm just like I yap a lot, right? But alright, hear me out, okay? Battlefy's UI is like changed so much and it's just like annoying. I wonder if they fixed the bracket viewing. If they fixed that, then I can understand, but like, oh man. I know. Oh, we're just chilling, waiting for everything to start. Matches may now begin. I'm gonna go ahead and... I thought these seeds looked the most interesting. Are there two spectators in here? Wait, who's in here? Juice? I'll leave. I can get Freshwater's game. It's only the lobby I see. I was here first. I was here first.
It's go time. Rawr. It's go time. Rawr. It's go time. Rawr.
That teaspoon.
Rawr.
Awesome stream. This is one awesome stream, we gotta say. It's time to bring chat into view. Chat is such a difficult thing to manage. I almost wish I had like just had a little tiny monitor just to view chat. Like a phone. I don't feel like doing that. Excuse me, oh my. Give me that teaspoon.
You learn your place.
Okay, alright. It's just a pools match. We got Freshwater versus Panbud. I haven't really seen either of these players play much. I think I've seen Freshwater play a little, but I might have faced Panbud before actually. So I'm in for a treat. Alright. Looks like Freshwater is going for GTR. Panbud is also going for GTR, but there is a noticeable speed difference. Panbud with a solid foundation, but is struggling to set up their GTR. It's gonna just set off a 4-chain, which, ooh, Freshwater was one piece away. Panbud just barely caught Freshwater. Possible that Freshwater is getting a little too greedy. If they just, I mean, they really could have noticed Panbud's just bad state of their transition. Just took a lot for that to just work. Freshwater with a 1-chain. Again, going with GTR. And Freshwater going with a weird attack. But, oh, yeah, Panbud's not ready.
That wasn't sweet. You'll never beat me.
I think Freshwater probably tried to go for a smaller harassment than what was set off. But it did end up working out in the end. A good base in the GTR from Freshwater. You know, Panbud hasn't quite completed their GTR, but they're setting up for a solid tail. Freshwater sets off a good harassment. The chain is still clean and accessible. Sets off a cutted follow up. Then finishes off Panbud. There's not really much Panbud can do. Especially with this 3-chain.
That wasn't sweet. You'll never beat me.
Alright. Freshwater with a slight early lead. Okay, another. Both players seem to only know GTR, which is fair. It's a strong form. Freshwater going with another attack, but oh, Panbud does not have their GTR quite set up fully. It's not going to be able to counter this 4-chain. Resources are too much covered up, and there's not enough space and time. Freshwater dishing out some pretty risky harassments. They're definitely more of like a. It's like on that last one, the most recent one. Like, ooh, that was a. Like Panbud got their chain off. And they're in. End up matching each other pretty much. Small amount of garbage sent. Freshwater is going to follow up with a power 2 chain, which sends a devastating blow to Panbud. Freshwater in a noticeably better position. They have a lot more room. Oh, Panbud needs to think about their dig. Actually does end up getting a very solid dig. It's gonna be barely enough to just send a little poke. Panbud's gonna immediately follow it up. Freshwater's purples are pretty accessible. Oh, Panbud coming in with a very strong attack. I was too focused on what Freshwater was doing. Yeah, Panbud did some good plays there. They noticed Freshwater's chain cut and they were able to just kind of fish for the piece they needed to set off their chain. I like seeing Panbud like fight well, despite being at a pretty big speed disadvantage. Looks like Freshwater might be setting up to cut their chain for harassment. But aborts it after seeing Panbuds have their full chain. It's gonna have barely a bigger chain. Okay, that was quite a bit bigger. Yeah, Freshwater just knew their chain was bigger, and yeah, just outchains Panbud. Panbud definitely making the wrong move by just setting off their chain without any previous attacks or of that kind. Because when you do that, it's just very likely that your opponent is just gonna outchain you. Because they have a lot of time to assess the situation. But anyways, Freshwater comes in with some little pokes. Doesn't affect Panbud's chain too much. Panbud did kind of lock themselves out of extending with those how those greens are set up. This chain is gonna be tough to set up. There's a lot of still needs 2 more greens. Actually no, just needed that 1 more. Freshwater with a 9 chain. Panbud was able to build up their chain though, but it's not gonna match up, only being an 8. Freshwater's chain was just big enough. Had Panbud had a little more time, Panbud had a really good chance at countering. Okay, Freshwater's tail is looking a little powered. Looks like it's set up to power a lot. Turns that into harassment though. Definitely a good play. Generally you don't want your tails to power. Panbud going with a giant 1 chain. It's gonna cover up Freshwater a little bit, but still have a good setup. Yeah, Panbud's attack. It's gonna not gonna end up working. Freshwater noticed and set off their full chain. Okay. Freshwater bringing it to match point. Honestly, in Panbud's situation, I don't really know what they can do differently to win. It's been pretty hard to figure out Freshwater's playstyle, exactly what their weaknesses are. Okay, well, this harassment's going to be extremely risky for Freshwater. Yeah, Panbud's just setting off their 4 chain. It's going to be rough. Yeah, looks like Freshwater blundered a bit there. Freshwater, and like being in this lead right now, I do say this a lot, but when you're in this much of a lead, you're at you're at a pretty big advantage. Nothing gameplay advantage like, but more that you're at the mental advantage. Because you just need 1 more game to win while your opponent needs to win however many games in a row. Match point can be rough to deal with. Panbud's only gonna be setting off a 5 chain, but Freshwater, I just watched them as they struggled to connect their extension to their GTR. Panbud's seeing a few wins. Panbud switching away from GTR actually, looking like they might be freestyling of some kind. If this is a form, tell me. Okay, Freshwater assuming that Panbud's chain just isn't ready, but Freshwater was correct, but Freshwater did end up making the right play in that situation. Panbud's chain was not ready, but did ended up taking out Panbud. But Panbud had a speed disadvantage, definitely rough. But in terms of their chaining prowess, both players were pretty equal. But yeah, that was a solid match. Solid. Yeah. I'm just saying yeah a lot. Feels like I'm just like filling in space. That's not good. I should never feel like that. Something tells me I'd rather hear. What am I saying? How many lobbies open right now? Most difficult part about Carbuncles Corner is like in pools matches where like everything is like super unpredictable. I like found an upcoming game, but the other streamer is already working on streaming it. I don't think there's any games to view right now, so I guess I'll camp out and find a good match in pool 3. This could be a good one. All right. I really don't know what to do while he waits. Oh wow, like every single lobby just appeared. Maybe I can snag one, I don't know. Which one did I choose? I can't forget which match I'm watching, goodness. Oh, this one, okay. I was gonna watch the match. It's gonna happen after. It's gonna happen right before this one, but ooh. Yeah, like all the lobbies are open right now. But maybe I can. I don't really want to. I have like okay. We're just gonna intermission for a while. So how's the weather? Pretty weather if you ask me. Not gonna lie. You know that like gif of like the fire writing? That's me right now. I really am just waiting for. Oh, I can at least join a lobby. Oh wait, might just be straight up ready.
usurper. Love conquers all.
Okay, whoops! I kind of just went, mute there. Here in a pools match, round 3, we have Lolo versus Ryder24. So, both these players, as far as I know, they're very strong. Lolo's a really good balanced player. They can harass, they can chain, they can do it all. I know Ryder is a good chainer. Although, this is looking rough. Lolo just setting off their chain, but Ryder's actually this is gonna offset most of it. This 2-chain isn't gonna affect Ryder too much. The resources are at least too tall, so just one row isn't gonna do much. Ryder is continuing to build tall. Lolo is gonna get an all clear, and that's gonna completely turn away Ryder's chances of winning this round. Lolo takes the first one. Lolo making an interesting play of just setting off their chain. Ryder did just barely get their chain off. But it was just barely weak enough, and Lolo was able to just kind of continue attacking with little harassments. Neither player is going to go for a counter setup. I saw placements in column 3 from both players. So chain forms are a little messed up right now just because the all clear kind of ruined a lot of plans. And Ryder's gonna get a strong attack here while Lolo just can't find the reds they need. That was rough. But Ryder brings it to an early tie. And Lolo building really tall. Oh, actually, Ryder also building that tall. Oh, Lolo's gonna fix their GTR with a little attack. Ryder's actually, usually you don't want to have your chain power, but in Ryder's case, they were able to still set off a strong chain to force Lolo to work on their main chain, but they were able to set it off just fast enough to where Lolo couldn't get any kind of attack, or couldn't build up their chain in time. This is why I say generally you don't want to, because there are cases where you want to do plays that aren't optimal. They're unoptimal in most situations. Looks like both players are just building chains right now. That one Puyo could have messed up Ryder really. Wait, what? I was ready to just kind of like back up the video because I don't know how Lolo just died there. I guess they made a whoopsie. That is my only assumption. Lolo building GTR in a very interesting way. I'm not entirely sure about this. Don't quote me on it, but I have heard people mention a form called New GTR. I have no idea what it looks like, so I don't know what to expect. I just don't know what it looks like, so I don't know how I would know, but I feel like I have seen that in the word New GTR makes me. Ooh, Lolo's tail's gonna get cut a little. That is gonna be the turning point. Lolo has so little room if they did choose to survive it out. Yeah, ouch. Just that small cut made Lolo's chain weaker than Ryder's. Just barely, too. That's... wow. It's always interesting to see when, like, the smallest little mistake just leads to defeat. Looks like Lolo is focused a lot more on chaining this round. Lolo appears to have a strong harassment ready. Setting it off at the wrong time though. Not having the yellows to make it work with their full chain. The Rider did have a good harassment ready, but they never converted it to their main chain. And that's gonna be game for this round. I actually just realized Rider's in a strong lead. Although one of those wins is possibly a mistake made from Lolo. I wasn't paying attention too close to that though. Looks like Lolo does want a counter setup. It does just that, however, it makes a... Oh, I see. Set Lolo... Pretty big brain there. Setting up the purples to still work. Sets off a 5 chain to their counter setup. So that chain right there had the power of a all clear along with the 5 chain they got, so even if Rider had built up their own 5 chain, that still would have been an entire that still would have been 5 rows of damage. It's very difficult to recover from. But, I mean, that round is exactly why you go for counter setups. When they go right, they go right. Lolo's at a point where they can decide to extend, or they choose to just set off the chain. Is in a very good spot. Yeah, with Rider's tail not providing enough. Yeah, Rider's tail's not going to provide enough power to offset Lolo's strong extension. Lolo brings it back up to a tie. Rider was in a strong lead, but Lolo is showing a lot of counter plays. Looking at how Lolo has consistently outchained Rider in most cases. So if I were Rider, I would definitely be switching to more of a fighting playstyle. But that is what I would do. I'm not Rider. I can't tell Rider what to do. And what if it's not the right play? What if Lolo has very good anti-harassment? Rider again just setting up the 4 chain. Having a sick link with that 8. However, 8 chain isn't gonna matter against the 9 chain. And yeah, Lolo takes a lead. Small, but enough to be a lead. Definitely getting 4 rounds in a row actually. Just some chain building right now. You know, I was just about to mention how Lolo has been playing very passive this game, but Lolo actually just goes for a little poke. But Rider does have a very strong tail, or just very strong chain in general. I don't think Lolo's going to be able to match a power 10. Yeah, actually, it's exactly a power 10, but yeah, the rest of the chain just didn't have as many links as Rider was able to make. Back to a tie. This game's been pretty back and forth. Yeah, I think Lolo just needed to focus a little more on extending that round. Didn't extend quite enough. sending off another 2-chain on. Ryder does not want to take a 2-chain. Lolo's not gonna get the blues they need. Ouch. Lolo definitely had a bigger chain, but didn't have the right pieces at the right time. Ryder actually brings it to match point. It was really looking like Lolo was gonna make a very strong comeback, which they still can. They still can. And Lolo's gonna go for the 4-chain all clear, which is gonna work out in their favor because if you saw Ryder's GTR, there was a yellow in the way of directly accessing the chains. There was no way to like kind of blob your Puyos to make a power or something, because like you needed to be able to access your chain in the first place. Ryder making questionable chaining decisions. I'm really not sure. Okay, Lolo, yeah, Lolo punished that really well, but I'm not really sure what Ryder was doing on top of their GTR. They kind of like slapped some pieces on top, but then acted like those pieces were going to continue the link. But that was a very good game. Very close. Pretty evenly matched. Lolo had a clear chaining advantage, but despite that, Ryder was still able to fight harassments pretty well from Lolo. Didn't like Ryder had some good chaining. But anyways, that's it for pools. I'm pretty sure. I doubt there's another game I can hop into. I think that was the first round 3 match to finish, actually. Might even be the first one to even start. No, all the other ones are going. Actually, except for this one. I bet someone's already claimed it, though. Yep. I don't know why I'm talking out loud with Battlefy. It's like I'm like I don't know if I should even be saying this. It's fine. No need to worry about it. I'm just speaking my actions aloud. Because, well, I mean, like when you're looking at the spectator lobby screen, and what else is there to look at? Actually, looks like I might be able to sneak into a match by chance. Maybe not, I really don't know. Game could have just ended. I'm really good at controllering with one hand. Hee hee. I'm in a lobby. D. You thought I wouldn't get a third game stream, but look at who's boss now. I'm aware that this is a. I'm pretty sure this player is a strong player. I haven't seen them play much though. Mika, they're going against Panbud, which we saw earlier. Might be in for a beating, unfortunately. However, content is greater than no content, am I right? And who knows, what if Panbud just makes the comeback of the century? Just wipes out Mika once and for all. And just, the funny T-spin emote. Oh, what is this? Oh, we got multiple spectators. Shout out to spectator cheering. It's very silly. Okay. I hope we start soon. Please. Clicking the woo emote is a lot easier than show me that T-spin. Show me that T-spin, you need 4 inputs.
Let's show each other some love.
It's way too difficult. I mean, come on. I clicked B instead of A. This is only 2 inputs, just like glue, but it requires some skill. You need to go left up. Can I just do this? Oh, huge. I'm learning the tech. I've been a little silly right now. Where Panbud at? Oh, hopefully they'll be in here very soon. Please.
Well, let's get started.
Wait. Oh no, you need 3 inputs.
Show each other some love.
You need at least 3 inputs to get to show me that T. Okay, alright. Fools round 3. We have Mika versus Panbud. I need to drink some water. But I never did. Because I had no idea when the match was going to start. Why didn't I just drink water? Who knows? But anyways, Mika versus Panbud. Oh, my bad. I'm stretching. I'm just stretching right when the battle starts instead of, you know, like before the battle started. Anyways, both players playing some good old GTR. Done by many, and both play really well with it. Ooh, Panbud going pretty strong. Strong extension method that I can never wrap my head enough around to actually get. Mika's just seems like they're just gonna set off their full chain. Oh, Panbud is struggling to get their transition. Although it looks like Mika's chain cut. I don't think. Okay, Panbud's tail was just enough to offset, just barely. Not enough to be lethal though. Mika's gonna be able to take this and actually has the perfect piece to get a strong 3-chain follow-up. Mika's gonna set off what they have left of their tail, and yeah, Panbud's knocked out. Alright. Definitely a longer first round. That tends to happen when 2 chains are offset. It's like there has to be some kind of rebuilding of the chains, because if someone sets off a small chain, first of all, they kind of put themselves in a not the greatest position. Mika's gonna go for harassment. Panbud goes for their full chain. Which, yeah. Okay, Mika was not ready for that. Despite Panbud's full chain being is that a power 4? Mika just, yeah, I mean they're bleh. They're what am I trying to say? They're oh my, why can't I speak? Mika's harassment looks really off. It's possible that they didn't really want to harass like how they did. Mika is going for a very risky chain there and doesn't sets up for a very powering tail. Still powers a lot. Very powerful 9 chain versus Panbud's freestyle. Not gonna be enough though. Panbud had to beat at least a power 9? And yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot to beat. This player's going for GTR. Ooh, Panbud going for a fatter. Actually, ooh, I thought Panbud set up their GTR. It can't work like GTR. Okay, they're gonna just choose to set off their 4-chain. I thought it was crazy. It's enough to catch Mika pretty off guard. They do have some room to get out of this though, and with Panbud's speed. Panbud's speed, it's gonna be rough for them to. What am I trying to say? It's gonna be rough for them to beat Mika. Mika comes in with a strong chain, but actually, Panbud actually extends and puts a lot of pressure on into Mika. Mika's gonna have to find out how to do it. Yeah, they just can't. There are too many different colored Puyos in column 1 Mika just wasn't able to deal with it. Just put too much pressure put on them. They definitely should have tried to definitely should have tried to attack faster. I think their harassments are too slow for, or they were too weak for how infrequent they were. Mika's gonna cut in their chain a lot for that harassment, but they're gonna follow up, and Panbud's pretty much just dead at this moment. This is not coming back from this. It's not coming back from that. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but Panbud definitely sees a big speed difference compared to Mika. Mika's definitely quite slow. Panbud as well. Panbud though, I'm really struggling with their GTR. Definitely a rough sighting. Oh yeah, they don't have any tails around. Yeah, Panbud getting taken out. With how Mika just kind of set off their full chain, I think Mika has realized Panbud's weaknesses and is now exploiting them to their full potential. Or exploiting them to the max. I'm not really sure how to say that. We might see Mika go for less risky extensions. I say as they go for a risky extension because who in the world could deny a good few extra links? But yeah, Mika just kind of extends as much as they can. Definitely realizing that Panbud does not attack much. Or just has their eye on Panbud. You notice they're not really setting off much. Panbud is definitely unable to outchain Mika just by looking. Just by noticing, I mean, Panbud's gotten outchained by a lot. Just last game was a 5 chain versus an 11. I wonder if Mika will try to set off their chain as soon as they can. Again, goes to the risky, but probably only just because they notice Panbud. Oh, actually, that was just a strong harassment. I did notice Panbud panic with their purples. They didn't want to place those in. They wanted to set off their chain as fast as they could. Mika bringing this to match point. Definitely a rough game to watch. Panbud is definitely at a huge disadvantage when it comes to many aspects. So it's going to be really rough for Panbud to make a comeback. I think Mika is just harassing better. Against Panbud, it's definitely rough. Yeah, just whenever you set up your chain around the same as your opponent, it resolves faster than when your opponent sets off the chain. That hurts, but yeah, definitely a large skill gap. But Panbud was still able to take 2 rounds. But so Panbud. That just shows that these players are playing at their best. Good games. Whew. And now we go to mid-bracket intermission. My nose feels very stuffed. I hope brackets don't start. don't think brackets are gonna start anytime soon. Or like soon. Soon. Let's see. Yeah, none of them are currently created. So I'm gonna break for a little bit. I think I have a good BRB screen. Yeah. Welcome back, stream. I returned from my slumber while I was gone. Uh-oh. Bracket start. Crap. Okay, I don't think they did. I don't even know what the other Powerful Corner streams are. If they're even like... There's gotta be juice. I don't know if there's any others though. Dude. Okay. I'm getting a little frustrated with small things. Dude, no shot. They just... Oh my god. Another... Oh my god. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Ooh. Take a deep breath. And watch as how Battle 5 sucks. Oh my god. There's no way they just split off winners and losers brackets. That's actually crazy. Now it's like really hard to see. Which games line up with each other? It's like the losers brackets always correlate with what the winners brackets are. I'll go ahead and... It was only going to be 2 games. Actually, there's only 2 games to actually spectate. Both of them have players have already spectated, so... Let's just take a look at this one. Excuse me. Show me that teaspoon! I just had to really hypen up the stream as absolutely nothing has been happening. Good. Ooh. It might have been really over if I forgot to switch to show the actual stream. Oh, oops. Well, at least I found it. Thinking about how I haven't played much Puyo lately. I think I'm just a little burnt out from it. But on the flip side, I've been playing more Kirby Air Ride. That's what you like to see. Having some good fun in that. Every time I do these Carbuncles corners, I just think about continuing on the stream with something else, but it always just ends up getting really late. I don't really want to stream for too long. It's just a bit too much for me. But if I do stream after this, I'll probably stream some Kirby Ride. Oh, that's not confusing at all. I just realized that there is Lao and Lao Mian. That's confusing. Alright, this'll be interesting. Let's hit it. Let's get this show on the road, please. Thank you. Apologize for background noise, by the way. You might hear some things in the background, some drums most notably. But here we are with Silver Bracket round 1. We have Freshwater versus Marigio. We've seen Freshwater earlier this stream. They seem to be a much more of a harassment player than they build chains. I tend to see them build a lot of all-outs. Marigio, what I know, they really are just like a chaining player. However, they're definitely their biggest trait to their gameplay that I've seen is they don't build extensions. They kind of just build their first floor and kind of go with it. So they're very good at taking their opponents off guard if they're not expecting it. However, if you do catch on, it's easy to just it's a very viable to just counter it with. Okay. Freshwater getting a little lucky there. They're struggling with their transition, and they had the right piece that could have fixed it, but they chose to do their tail with it instead. The Freshwater building extension will outchain the 5. Marigio is going to be left with very little room as they attempt to fight out of it. However, that would have been really rough to fight out of. But here we go. Alright, early tie. I haven't mentioned the chain form so far, but we have a GTR versus a freestyle. And Freshwater catching that harassment from Marigio. I wasn't paying too close attention to their board. Marigio wants to set off that power to that goes into its reaction. Oh, and Freshwater is barely able to survive it. They can definitely dig this out, but will they dig it before? Ooh, that. Oh wait, getting a. Oh, okay, having actually quite the dig. Puyo definitely getting punished right now for not attacking as fast or as strong. However, maybe if they spent a little more time, Freshwater would have had time to dig. But Freshwater did get that extra 4 chain, which really just stopped or denied Marigio whatever they can do. Looks like Marigio is going for some more attacks right now. Marigio building up a counter setup, but it's not feeling complete. Not much of a counter setup at that point. Very, very interesting chain from Marigio. Especially only having 3, while Marigio is a very interesting 5 chain. I can't help but just kind of just look at it and be like, what? That's crazy that that just worked like that.
See you next time.
And it looked. I was like looking at them like, are they trying a counter setup? It really looked like that. But Ringu did end up taking the round. Freshwater set an attack that they could not counter. Set an attack that they could not re-prepare their chain for. Freshwater gonna go for a 2 chain. They are able to iron taking range, however. But that, yeah, those yellows being separated by the garbage. Freshwater needed to build a little taller in the column next to the yellow. I can't remember which column it was, so I'm just gonna explain it. Marigio actually showing, like, it's weird to say that, like, Marigio is showing strong tenacity because, like, they really are just setting off their full chain. They're just not building, they're not building a transition. So trying to just, like, feels like harassment. It's a very interesting situation to look at. Ah. Oh, Freshwater. Not sure what they were doing there, but they needed their full chain. They definitely should have fished for some greens. Although their tail could have been weak. I wasn't too sure on the power of their tail. And Marigio just kind of like setting off their chain as soon as it's kind of ready. And then it's just constantly catching Freshwater off guard. I don't think they've noticed that Marigio's not building any transitions. Because they continue to leave their chain very vulnerable. And to beat Marigio's playstyle, they kind of need to focus on safe chains. Because with safe chains, there's no going wrong with that. Well, it looks like Freshwater is going for a safe chain. Building pretty tall to be able to take Marigio's pokes. Ryu's gonna do a slight dig to their resources. Nothing game changing. Ryu really wants to dig to those purples. I'm not getting any big chains in the process. This is gonna hurt Marigio a lot because Freshwater's taking a very small amount of garbage, but they are building up a chain. Yeah, Marigio sees their dig opportunity here. We kind of just have a battle of poking right now. There's been not really many decisive strikes. Just a lot of 2 chains, a lot of 3 chains. Nothing that will really turn the tides of the battle. Players just being able to just dig out of their situations. Ryu notices a good usage of their blues to offset another 3 chain. This is getting a little out of hand. Just a lot of small chains. Freshwater managed to build something really decisive. Finally used the time they had on Marigo, just kind of setting off
You'll never be
not very like, what's the word? I already used decisive a lot, but Marigo just setting a lot of weak attacks that Freshwater just kind of just built around. It's not too hard to accommodate your chain for a weak attack. I think Marigo is going into some constant attacks, but Freshwater does get their chain off, which kind of does just seem like game over for Marigo.
Where's the love? I'm so mad.
Freshwater? Freshwater looking good, getting 2 wins in a row. Well, Marigo's been match point for a while now. It looks like Freshwater might have finally found Marigo's weakness. Although they are building really risky. Freshwater's gonna go for a little 2-chain. And then brings into their full chain. Probably likely seeing that Marigo maybe doesn't have a very accessible their full chain isn't very accessible, so Freshwater was just kind of able to set off their full chain. Even if they did get their even if Marigo did get their full chain out, it wasn't strong enough to beat Freshwater's. Freshwater definitely focusing a lot more on chaining as of now. I don't know. Seem to be just kind of cleaning up the chain. Marigo's gonna go with a strong attack, while Freshwater's gonna get their full chain away. And yeah, Marigo is punching it again for not building up any transition of sorts. Looks like Freshwater has gotten a lot more comfortable with Marigo's playstyle and brings it to a tying match point. This is a round that will decide it all. It's always exciting when this happens. It's like, really anyone can take it. What Marigo needs to do is catch Freshwater off guard again. And just kind of keep up the pressure. Which they are able to do, and this is going to take out Freshwater. Wow. So, yeah, another case of just showing how, like, chaining just isn't everything in Puyo Puyo. Even though Freshwater had a huge chaining advantage compared to Marigo, Marigo was just able to send a lot of attacks. And take out Freshwater a lot of times. Freshwater's looking real close at the end, though. So, yeah, that was really well played. That was a very good match. Yeah, that was awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, as if life wasn't hard enough, I now have to make Firefox full screen just to view Battlefy effectively. The excuse me. Okay. This is a silver bracket, round 2.
Looks like it's my turn.
We have Lao Mian versus Ryder now. Lao Mian, not to be confused with the other Lao. I first saw Lao Mian and I thought they were Lao, but there's 2 Laos around. So I don't know how Lao Mian plays. So I'm gonna find out, and I seen Ryder earlier this stream. They seem to be a strong chainer, but they do not they're not faltering on their castments.
Better.
Yeah, and kind of proving me right by just sending off a little attack.
Awesome. Better.
Sending off another attack actually. Lamian might be trying to fish for their main chain. Actually, yeah, they're kind of forced to do that after Ryder sets off their full chain. Although there's a lot. Oh no! Ouch. Yellow's cut. I don't notice that. I was about to point out Lao Mian's powering on their tail. How it might be enough to take out Ryder's chain, but that cut, that's the power you don't want to see. Okay, a lot of chain building right now. Ooh, okay, I was about to point out harassment opportunity from Lao Mian, but Ryder goes with an attack that kind of forces Lao Mian's full chain. Ryder gets a piece to self-defend if they had, but yeah, taking that much garbage, that's gonna be really rough. And with a follow-up power 4, Ryder does not have enough resources to counter. We got another early time. It's been a lot of close games today. Lamian is setting up for a powering tail. Despite setting up their reds to power, they still could have set up their reds to extend as a tail. Maybe Ryder is just going to go for their full chain. Lamian did set up their tail with those purples. It's going to be enough to make the not a fatal blow. I don't know if they're going to immediately follow up with a 3 chain, but offsets the 3 with a power too. This game's getting heated. Lamian's follow-up, or the chain just wasn't big enough. Ryder had it.
Thank you.
That was a strong setup. Much stronger than Lamian's, which was what mattered.
Awesome. Better.
Ryder with some attacks. Probably to deal with some tough pieces. Cutting off their yellows was really, that was a really, yeah, I don't want to say bad, but it's a tough call just because they needed yellows for multiple aspects of the chain. Ryder's just gonna out chain here. Ryder did have a chance to extend it to a 10, but it's probably not. Anyway, first of all, it was not needed, and second of all, it probably wasn't worth it. Might as well go with a quicker ending to the game. And my main just not wanting to deal with that tall GTR just sets off a third 3 chain. However, Ryder's in a very good spot to dig.
Awesome.
Oh, but Lau gets a... Yeah,
Losing my
Ryder was
edge.
struggling with that
Can't
dig.
compete with
I
me.
think they should have just gone with what they could have as fast as they could. Use that resource advantage while you have it.
Awesome.
It's definitely good on Lao Mian for just continuing to follow up. Following up on
Awesome.
okay. Following up on the garbage they sent. Okay, Lao Mian just going for their full chain.
Awesome.
Ryder is just gonna go with their full chain without actually extending. Okay, they're gonna get punished for that.
Good move.
The chain was not really ready to
Losing my
be
edge.
set off. And it definitely could have used, considering it did not chain, it needed more links. I'm going for another choice to make their chain power rather than going for a tail.
Awesome.
And I am not really sure.
Speed up.
Islamian was going for a harassment.
Hard drop.
No, I'm not
Hyper hard drop.
sure.
Revolution.
They do get the chain off, but Ryder has a 10 chain. That's stronger than a power 7.
Aww.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, Ryder. Oh, small lead. I just realized just how close this game has been. There's been a lot of back and forth. Been a lot of back and forth. I've been catching their mistake.
Awesome.
Ooh, if Ryder noticed. So Lamian is obviously not the greatest spot.
Awesome. Better.
I feel like Ryder could have caught.
Awesome.
Ooh,
Awesome.
just barely get out their full chain. Lamian's in their rough spot. They
Feel
gotta build fast. They gotta build big, and there just isn't enough time. They really get something off the only a power 2 with 3. It's not gonna be enough to offset.
Aww.
Thank you. That was fun.
Alright, Ryder taking a more significant lead. Actually, Lamian with a all clear. Clear chain is generally worth it, but Ryder did build a 4 chain, so Lamian's probably going to take a lot of garbage. However, Lamian still has the power of their...
Awesome.
Still has the power of their
Good move.
all clear, which they're going to use. It's going to cover up Ryder a lot. Their counter setup
Awesome.
didn't quite use their counter setup correctly. They set it up too early.
Awesome.
Oh, that blue.
Good move.
I was gonna say that blue not connecting is
Losing my edge.
rough, but
Can't compete with me.
Ryder would have only had a 3, which would not have outchained Lamian's 4. Am I saying Lao Main? Lao Mian? Oh man, these names are difficult. Okay, questionable decision. Gambling a lot on this follow-up being an all clear, but actually Ryder not ready. Doesn't have the purple in
Losing my
time.
edge.
And Lamian brings this back to a tie. Whew, very, very close match right now. Man, Battlefield being really good. Pretty. Lamian with a very abstract chain. They can't connect those purples now, so their tail is locked to be pretty small. Actually, I don't know if they connect those. I thought they needed the purples. But Rider's just gonna end up out training. Their tail's much more ready. And considering they kind of had the choice when to set off their chain more than Lamian did, because Lamian's extension is very inaccessible. Okay, Lamian's gonna divert to stairs. Very important that a Rider actually offsets some of that. I think 2 garbage and call 1 would have been lethal. The Rider almost missed dropping that. Yeah, Rider's definitely gonna. Yeah, they're. Yeah, Lamian's not enough time. It's not enough time to get the chain off, and Rider's gonna end up taking the round.
Thank you. That was fun.
There's a lot of back and forth that game, but Rider was able to take a 1-point or 2-point victory. But yeah, the players were pretty evenly on chaining, but Rider definitely had definitely built cleaner chains, and that ended up working in their favor a lot of the times, along with their strong harassments. Alrighty, having some good games. Can I find one in the loser bracket? Is this one started yet? Maybe I can hop in. No! I just need to find a match. Alright, you know what? I feel like I've dived into losers bracket a lot. I'm gonna dive into winners bracket. I'm gonna watch winners files live. Actually, I just realized my mic is a little quiet. It might have been hard to hear me. Okay. Alright, Freshwater, you are on stage. Almost stated winners. So, yeah, that was a close one. I'll say for that match, you definitely should have built more safer, because Marigo was never building any what's it called? Any transitions. Marigo wasn't making any of those. And I think you were building like Marigo was gonna build up a big chain, but you just needed to analyze the situation and realize you didn't need to do that, and you could just build really safe and really could have just spammed 6 chains. But that is very, very hard to do in the moment. Why was I gonna say Freshwater's on stream? I literally diverted. I'm so sorry, Freshwater, if you're still in here. I was just gonna be like, I'm gonna stream your match, but for once I'm going into winners. I usually dive into losers. Definitely good luck, Freshwater. I'm back with a following Rider again. We have Rider versus Lao9. Rider 24 versus Lao9 in winners finals. So here we go. I haven't seen. I fought Loud9
Let's
before.
have fun, okay?
We're pretty evenly
You
matched.
can't fight destiny.
It's interesting. So yeah, I get the feeling that Ryder is gonna outchain though, but we'll see. I don't know what can happen between different matchups, but alright, here we go. Okay, both players GTRing. Yeah, I would say some snarky comment about like being like, ah, these players are playing with GTR, but I play GTR myself, so I'd be making fun of myself. Maybe I still will. Yeah, GTR, yeah. But back to the context of the game. I'm, Ryder setting up a chain. Now's tail doesn't connect, however. It's not gonna be enough to outchain Ryder.
I should have predicted this.
Piece of cake.
Okay. There's both players kind of just building up their chains. Both GTRs in the same spot, too tall. Uh-oh.
I can see it. It's coming.
Yeah, Loud needed to do that, but ooh, Ryder noticed. Was able to respond in time.
No, you can't.
Wow.
I should have predicted
Really
this.
messed up their column 1. They put a purple when their GTR link was red? I think it was not. They put a color in their column 1 that did not link their GTR. Oh, actually, now I'm going for a different chain form.
I can see it.
Goes for a click 3 chain.
Hurry.
And Ryder does not want any of it. Only outchains by 1 chain
No,
though.
you can't.
It is going to be a lot of garbage, but this is very doable.
See it.
Lau's resources are very accessible.
I can see it. It's coming. Hurry.
Oh wow, Ryder with it.
Coming. No, you can't.
Nothing more to describe it other than immaculate tail. That was something else. I just look over and I see a really clean
I should
tail.
have predicted this.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, Ryder just setting up a big chain, taking out Lau. Lau definitely could have dug a little more powerfully. But it was digging takes a lot of brain power. So you're not exactly going to be the fastest if you're digging super optimally.
Here.
Maybe we can tough call on their extension, making it 3 tall, or stairs on floor 2. I feel like that always goes wrong. I feel like Lau has also built themselves a stairs on
I
floor
should have
2.
predicted
Or,
this.
yeah, floor 2. Built stairs on floor 2, and oh, that's just like stairs on floor 2 is really hard to connect. You either need junk pieces or more stairs, and stairs on floor 2 is really hard to manage. There's a lot of color conflicts that can occur. I think you need to be careful with those purples connecting in column 2 and 3.
I can see it. I can see it. It's coming.
Yeah, Ryder not wanting any of that 2 chain. Being as tall as they are, that's very fair.
Coming.
Lau isn't. Oh no, Lau actually possibly noticing the cut, but still needing extension despite Ryder's cut.
I should have predicted this.
Piece of
Ryder in a huge lead right now. Lau is having a really rough time dealing with Ryder's strong chains. Trying to get outchained even when you're in your opponent cut, that's when you know you're in for a tough time.
here.
I can see it.
Fortunately, Lau not showing any strong weaknesses against Ryder, or any not really showing any strengths against Ryder as of now.
Here. Come on.
Ryder might just take these strong early rounds where your opponent doesn't really know how to deal with your playstyle. Although, I don't know if they strong chain. Ryder getting punished for simply just setting up the chain really early. Lau is gonna get this. Lau is gonna get this follow-up. Ryder just isn't able to do it.
That wasn't sweet.
I knew I'd win.
Lau punishing Ryder really well with their stronger chain. Unfortunately, that was just more of a mistake on Ryder's end.
Here.
It's still a rough call as to what Lau needs to do to win.
Here.
I can see it.
He's being behind by 4 points. Actually, no, this is... I forgot. Winners Finals. This is a first to 9.
I can see it.
So Lau actually has more time than they might think. Ryder actually is making the wrong play of just setting up their chain, but maybe they just know that their chain is just bigger than Lau's because it has one strong tail.
I should have predicted this.
Piece of cake.
Ryder in a big lead. Considering Lau has lost most of the chaining battles with Ryder, I think Lau needs to go for a harassment victory. I don't think they can outchain Ryder. Ryder's just simply too good at building chains.
Here.
See it. It's coming.
And Lau doing just that. Although, ooh, Ryder just barely having the right piece for their chain. Just gonna set off their extension lead. Managed to get. And ooh, just one link short without
I should
chaining.
have predicted this.
Piece of cake.
Alright, ooh. Yeah, Lau's really far behind. They need to change up their game plan. I feel like they've been going for chaining victories this whole time. But what they need is to attack.
Here.
I can see it.
Here.
Okay, Ryder is just gonna set off their chain. Very questionable decision, but what? Okay, that's just
I should have.
kind of baloney. What? Where are Lau's balloons? That's insane. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, Ryder is still 7 points ahead.
Here.
Ryder is gonna mix it up with their own attacks. I was still in it though, able to dig this out.
I can see it.
Here.
Some of the green though.
Come on. Parfait.
Oh no. Doesn't have
Should
the
have predicted that.
isn't able to put the green in the right spot they wanted. They wanted to go for an extension, but they didn't have enough vertical space. A rough score, but Lau wasn't far behind in terms of how close they were to winning. They definitely could have had it had they mixed up their play style. But yeah, GG's. Yeah, and I would stop to get more water, but I kind of am streaming back to back right now. Okay, right now a losers match should be happening very soon. Wonder how Lamian versus Freshwater is after Freshwater appearing in my chat. I kind of like feel this like attachment that I kind of have to go for Freshwater now. What do you mean, failed to find match, huh? It was just there. No! What? What is this? Is this Losers Finals? Alrighty. Gaming, what can it see? Do. Real. If I do this, oh. Controller, am I right? Would I be on keyboard? This would be so much easier. I don't feel like I got keyboard adapter just for spectating. It's just unnecessary. Okay, well, I apologize the match starts. But, I need water. Talking takes a lot of water, so I'll be back. But enjoy match without commentary if it starts. Wow. Kind of expected the match to just like start. Oh, I forgot my water. My apologies, but the rounds didn't start yet, so not the worst thing in the world. Not like the match could have started. What would you have done? What would you have done without commentary? Like, come on. Okay, here we have, it's not quite losers finals. It's called losers semis for some reason. This really should be losers finals, but losers semis, silver brackets. Marigia versus Freshwater. These players battled earlier in this same bracket. That's fun. New matches are always really fun because it's like, alright, anything can happen. These players know how each other play at this point. There's no mystery. Could take a round or two, but oh. Okay. Oh man. Sorry, I said this was supposed to be losers series, but this is supposed to be losers finals, but this is actually losers semis. I just miscounted. This is what Battlefy UI Traders does to me. Anyways, I should be focusing on the game. I haven't even said anything that's happened. Okay, Freshwater taken out by some attacks by Marigio. Looks like Marigio is just being extra aggressive. I wonder if they understand Freshwater's weaknesses. Freshwater making the right call. I don't think they really knew how to deal with the shape form they had. I think a power 3 here will completely deny Marigia from any kind of dig.
You'll never beat me.
Alright. I noticed Freshwater builds flat on top of their GTR a lot. Marigia's gonna go with some relentless. It's from relentless harassment. Freshwater's gonna get really close to a dig, but isn't quite there to connect. Marigia's gonna get a strong follow-up. Very large 3-chain. Which, yeah, Freshwater just isn't ready to counter. Gets taken out. Marigia showing a lot of aggression. Definitely taking Freshwater's weak points to advantage. Although, despite the rough shape of Freshwater's extension, they got just the right pieces at the right time to make that work. It's taken out. Marigia's taken out. Yeah, Freshwater. kind of getting lucky, but Mario kind of setting off all their resources like that in not the most efficient manner was a rough call. Ooh, we got some freshwater cheering in the chat. I'm kind of with that, but I'm continuing. Kind of have to stay a little neutral. And wow, this Mario having a very powerful fortune. It's looking like freshwater's gonna counter it. Oh, wow. Okay, able to buffer some things, but kind of does ruin Mario's chain plan. Without those greens, their purples aren't going to be able to connect. Mario not wanting to take any garbage immediately follows up with that 3 chain they had ready. Okay, ooh. Ouch, yeah, ooh, no. That hurts. No! Freshwater getting extremely unlucky. Just piece after piece, just no greens. And that was a solid like 5 seconds of fishing for a green and just not getting one. That is always real rough to see. Ooh, we got Marigo. Marigo with an all clear. This is, yeah, freshwater's kind of donezo for after taking that 4 chain. Okay, Marigo in a slight lead. Not all hope is lost for freshwater though. Again, as I've seen before, Marigo doesn't go for transitions. They only build with their first floor. I feel like freshwater's having a hard time holding safe to counter Marigo's weakness. But does end up getting off the chain after taking some garbage. That is another way for freshwater to win, which also just goes in with building a safe chain, but if they keep column 3 very clear, they can tank a lot of garbage and still be able to set off their chain. With Marigo's slower speed, they won't be able to follow up very effectively. Yeah, again, look, freshwater just needs so much for that chain to work. And relying on that after seeing Marigo's aggression. Tough call to make. Freshwater's gonna need a 3 chain, but Marigo's ready with an all clear 4 chain. Which, yeah, freshwater's red being like through 4 layers of Puyos. That's just rough. Just achieving the key to the GTR just took too many pieces, and I'm just not gonna be able to outchain that 4 chain. Oh, Marigo with another all clear. Kind of on fire with these all clears. He's gonna immediately follow up with the all clear. And yeah, oof. It's a quick round. Marigo just kind of beating up freshwater. Again, not really using the power of big chains. Freshwater is a huge chaining advantage. I mean, they've built chains much bigger than Marigo has done, but Marigo is just able to really just catch freshwater off guard. Looks like that's their goal for this game. This round, I should say. But I mean, oh, freshwater's tail is just not ready. Being match point for Marigo. Marigo's gonna take the round. Yeah, very interesting display of just pure aggression. Not much of a focus on their chaining power. But yeah, good game. That was. It's always interesting to see like. It's like tense watching the chainer build up their chain and like, you know, they go for something like risky or the aggressor is like harassing at a really good opportunity. Those are always entertaining. Same power on that last chain. Yeah, Marigo was doing a lot of powers. They didn't care about their efficiency. They just wanted to send garbage. Okay. Okay, I made it in. All right. It's interesting seeing. I was like, yeah, about. I really like it when I see Puyo games of like of just smaller chains. Is it really just like? I just always had this thought of how like Puyo Puyo just like it's not just about chains. It's not just like people building chains and like a 15 chain beats a 14 chain. That's not like that's not all Puyo is. You do see big chains happen a lot, but I should get back on the topic because the match is about to start. Alrighty, here in actual losers finals. We have Marigyo versus Lau. Lau is a more of a chaining player. I don't see them harass too often. And Marigyo, on the other hand, is a Freshwater's here in the chat. Spams Russian so much. Marigyo is nothing but rushes. Marigyo is just attack, attack, attack. They don't care about any integrity of their chain. They just want to fight. Showing a lot of slowing down. That's very rough for. Very rough for. I'm having such a tough time thinking about what I'm saying. Yeah, Lau's slowing down there, not being able to follow up on, or Marigyo's slowing down a lot to deny them of getting a follow up onto Lau. But Lau going with GTR, tried and true, used a lot. And we got some Lau appreciation in the chat. I mean, yeah, obviously in like a powerful playstyle, or you'll definitely see stronger players balancing aggression and chaining. But yeah, Marigyo makes a lot of attacks on Lau. Lau just not being able to dig, not having enough time. Yeah, Freshwater in the chat right now is saying that he's talking about how Lau maintains low. Yeah, as long as they keep up the integrity of their chain and they don't what am I trying to say? As long as Lau needs to build safely. They need to not let Marigyo's attacks get to him. I've said this a lot at this point, but Marigyo doesn't build any transitions, so the highest chain they can get without a tail is a 5. And the 6 chain is a lethal point. But yeah, I know you see top level players. Let's see them balance their attacking energy really well. Lao barely getting off a 4 chain, but Regio getting a stronger attack. Or a stronger chain, actually. I can't help but feel that Marigio is fighting a losing battle as of now. Marigio is just like kind of getting covered up a lot by Lao. Lao's attacks being very effective. Lao isn't really compensating for any safety. And they're not attacking strong enough, and Lao is just given a lot of time. Lao takes another round. Okay, we have an all clear start. Okay, no. Neither players want to go for, and both players just kind of, I always find, it's always so funny when an all clear start happens, and it either goes two ways. It can either ends up in like a completely different game plan where like players are focusing on building up their counter setup. Regio just pulling a strong chain onto Lao and Lao succumbing to pressure. The attacks. Right now this match has been very even. Oh yeah, again Regio. I don't really feel the need to say this much more, but again, just Regio just not going for any kind of transition here for the bigger chain. So we're likely going to see Lao. We're likely going to see Lao build these bigger chains a lot, very often, while Regio takes some damage. Because it seems like Regio isn't really able to get a lethal chain down in time. Or Lao isn't really usually able to get a lethal chain down by the time Regio gets the first attack. Yeah, Regio needs to play aggression really well. And on the flip side, Lao needs to build safely, because as long as with their stronger chaining power, if they build safely, they're likely just gonna outchain. Regio again going with setting up a very large array of just going for a finisher. Lao notices. Lao has figured out Marigio. Oh no, actually. Oh, I didn't see they were missing the blue for their chain. I thought Lao really just caught on to Marigio there, but that cut hurts. Oh, okay, so both players got an all clear, but Ryu only got a 2 chain, while Lao got a 3 chain all clear, so they're a nice space advantage, and Ryu's gonna quickly set off their all clear. Lao's gonna need to do the same. Not enough to really follow. Yeah, oh wow, okay. Ryu just kind of taken out by that. Alright, we're seeing Lao. I think Lao has figured out Marigio. Just that one game they messed up their tail. But yeah, Lao's chain is just so accessible, but ooh, they're just not getting blues. So right now Marigio needs to really get a follow-up. And Lao is fighting for their life to dig. Wow, just needing a purple. but getting totally like what? Okay. Wow, barely manages. Oh no, but it doesn't quite follow up in. Oh no. Okay, digging in a bit into their tail. Oh, there is. Wow is struggling a lot right now. They are trying their absolute hardest to fight all this pressure. There's a lot of pressure being placed. There's just a lot of garbage, a lot of things happening, and Lau just doesn't have enough space. And yeah, Murillo ends up taking that round. That round taking a while. Yeah, okay. And Murillo again, probably just setting up with some early attacks. Lau didn't get enough reds to get their chain up to lethal level, but they are able to send a lot of garbage. And that kind of is what's important in the end. Lau did have a bit of a choice, but a bit of an option there. Lau could have went for transition on those double reds, which actually is probably what they should have ended up doing. I see why they just went for their chain, but Murillo had a big attack ready. Okay, full offset. This round is taking a while. It's a lot of I saw this earlier, but like there's just a lot of pokes. Not any decisive strikes. Nothing that will really just be like, yeah, that's game. A few trickles of garbage. It's possible we might even see this go into. There you go. Murillo setting up as something decisive. Oh, but that 2-chain messing up what Lau had planned, not giving them enough time. Murillo is gonna end up getting that finishing blow. My switch turns off again, or quiets down, or sleeps. I darkens. Oh no, one piece away, Lau, from accessing their chain. Murillo having a strong follow-up ready, but Lau getting a perfect piece. For those purples, cutting their chain a little bit, but their tail didn't have much. Tail didn't connect past that, so it didn't matter whether or not that powered. It wouldn't have given much more garbage. Oh, those yellows just barely being tall enough. Leads Lau to a very strong sort of like dig. That was interesting. It was just barely set up to work that way too. I feel like the more the games go with this matchup, the less of a chance that Murillo has at taking the round. Lau needs to get to the point where they realize that they need to finish their GTR base, and whatever they can make an extension, they need the bare minimum chain to win, because they don't have enough time. They just gotta realize it, and they have it. Gonna be a full-on just offset here, just very little garbage sent. Only being a 2-chain. Sending a lot of garbage to Lau. I have another one of these just kind of poke and tickle. Nothing decisive. Lau coming in with something strong. Oh, and Lau just barely being able to, or Murillo. not being quite fast enough to get to the right piece. They did have something really strong planned. Alright, Lao with their GTR base, but it's definitely leaving it open. Can't find the yellow they need. Oof. That hurts. Oh, what? Man. Lao having the most unlucky time ever. That hurt. They didn't have their GTR color when they needed it. They didn't have their big follow up when they needed it. However, it does barely get the purples they need to set this off. I think a 5-chain is very close. We're gonna be close to being lethal, but Ringo is just kind of going to give up, which is fair. It's a very small amount of room to work with. And Lao is going to take this to match point. Ringo still has a good chance at taking Lao off guard, but if Lao just kind of keeps up what they've been doing, dealing with Ringo's pressure. Ringo is building really tall. I'm really not sure what they have planned. At this point, Lao has been able to get their. Oh wait, oh no! Actually, Lao is struggling right now. Just a lot of layers to go through on the main chain, but is able to actually has a lot of just spare resources kind of lying around to just go with some strong attacks. On Regio not getting greens is gonna cause Lao to wrap this round up, and Lao takes the set. I feel like I kind of like saw an evolution of Lao realizing Regio's weaker chains and just going straight for aggression. But I can't really pinpoint when that happened. It kind of just... I feel like Lao just kind of got comfortable with dealing with what Marigio was sending. And Marigio didn't really show any kind of like counterplays to Lao. They weren't getting ready to like build a transition or anything. They just kind of went double down into their play style. With that though, we have grand finals coming up. Alrighty. So yeah, again. It's very annoying. I was trying to counterplay but couldn't. Yeah. Something I really realized from I fought this one player they're very strong. They're good at chaining and harassing, but they gave me some very strong advice which has really helped me against rushers. And it's just like kind of no matter what colors you get, you kind of just really want to finish your GTR inside. Just or you want to finish your GTR just as fast as you possibly can. It doesn't matter if you get like a really good color for your tail. Having your GTR intact is extremely important. And the only thing I can really say to that, rushing before you get your base finish, is really just finish your base faster. I really don't know what else to say. Just You really just gotta do it. If you feel like you, like, okay, like, generally in a game, if you get a really good piece for your tail, like, it's, like, really good, you want to go for that. But if you're going against a rusher, like Marigio, you really want to focus on that, because a strong tail, like, okay, like a 6 chain is still going to be lethal to a player like Marigio, just like a 7 chain is. Just a 6 chain is much quicker to build. But alright, we have back to game at hand. We have Rider 24 versus Loud 9, but Loud 9 hasn't joined yet, so I'm not gonna introduce it quite yet. So this is grand finals, first to 10. With my predictions, I feel like Rider is just a significantly stronger player than Lao. I can't help but feel that I've seen Rider build chains faster and stuff. But anyways, we have Rider 24 versus Lao 9 in grand finals.
Please go easy on me.
Both these players show strong chaining power. I've seen Rider go for some strong harassments though, so we're probably gonna see them do that. Okay, we have both players of GTR. We have a mirrored. Okay, those first few pieces are just it's kind of the same. You don't see that too often. You would think it would happen a lot. Ryder seems to be struggling. And he goes with a pretty messy start with their chain. Actually, Lao kind of going on the aggression, but Ryder has a much stronger tail. Lao didn't have much of an extension to work with it. Still makes it really close though. The power that Lao had was very valuable. And Lao is fighting it. I appreciate the effort, but it's just such a small amount of room to work with. Yeah. It's that small room, you only really have room for 1 chains, and even if your opponent just like kind of spams 2 chains at you, a 1 chain does not beat a 2 chain, and eventually just the garbage just builds up and you just can't deal with it anymore. Okay, Ryder almost building a little risky, but gets a nice piece. And Ryder cuts their chain to get a 3 harassment. It's gonna end up putting their extension in a really difficult spot. But Lao does not getting the, I guess, yellows they need. I couldn't really follow the chain too well. I think they needed yellows, but just not getting them. And Ryder is gonna divert a little from GTR. I have used this form sometimes when I get those specific pieces. I still don't really know how to use it. I mean, I don't like practice it every day. Looks like Lao's at a pretty big advantage right now. Ryder is having a tough time trying to build up their tail. Lao gets their much more comfortably built chain off. And yeah, with how much more to plan Lao's chain went. That's gonna be bigger than Ryder's, and it's just gonna outchain. Unfortunately, I would like to say that Lau made a strong play, but the only thing I can really attribute to Lau's victory was Ryder's mistakes. Lau's struggled for pieces. The purples are gonna cut, and so does yellows, and yeah, ouch. Too little space to put junk pieces in. Just a lot of just pieces kind of slept into the chain. That doesn't really contribute to it. Not only makes it much harder to set off, but contributes to a weaker chain overall. And that was going for a crazy. It's barely up to the third floor before setting off their full chain. This strong extension not very valuable, but it's actually oh wow, okay. That sent a lot more garbage than I was expecting. So yeah, it did end up being lethal. Generally two red rocks of garbage are just enough to take someone out. Okay, that's some more GTR. Ryder's been able to build up their GTR faster, and they actually already have their base finished. So it's been a big advantage, because now they can, if they want to, they can just kind of start attacking, but it looks like they're focusing much more on just continuing to extend. This is going to give Lau a chance to catch up. This chain cuts in many ways. Ryder's chain cut in many ways. Lau's chain is a lot cleaner and well, but I can't. I looking at Lau's chain, Lau had a very strong extension. I wasn't too. They didn't seem to have a very strong tail though. So I feel like if Ryder's chain did not cut, they would have been very even with Lau's. Okay, Ryder's just gonna set off their chain. Lau is gonna be one piece away from getting their chain off. That always hurts to see. Lau is not gonna have enough room to really work with anything. Yeah. Ryder pulling in more of a rush, a much more risky manner. That was. Like, had Lau got their chain off, that was very risky. Okay, just some visual chain building. Lau's gonna come with a small poke. And Lau's gonna follow up with their full chain. I think the chain is too big though. And they're able to give Ryder a chance to attack, a chance to get their chain off. This is an instance of, yeah, just, this is an interesting instance of, if your chain was smaller, it would have been more effective. Because while Ryder was covered up, Ryder was able to kind of just like, get all the garbage out of the way and just kind of fix up the chain and make sure it's just ready. If Lau had cut their chain, they would have had a big advantage, or they would have had their chain would have resolved faster, and the garbage would have sent taking out Ryder. I was gonna go with a big chain. In terms of just like, there's a lot of Puyos getting set off there. Ryder's gonna come back with a much cleaner chain and is only gonna send a row. I was ready, come up with 3 chain, does just that. However, Ryder has a plan, maybe strong dig ready, but Lau is coming with a quick follow-up. Doesn't let Ryder do what they have planned. Making this match much closer. Predictions for this matchup, I really thought that Ryder would be kind of crushing it, but that was impressing me. Showing some strong chaining power. And it's really interesting to see them harass. Although that was a bit too risky of a harassment. This tail's gonna be really hard to rebuild. Not having much of an extension or a tail, that was at a huge disadvantage with this chain. Ryder just assessing that situation really well. Okay, just 2 GTRs billing each other, small pokes. Generally seems to be the early game of this matchup. I'm actually having a good trying to extend. Goes for an attack instead. Not getting any blues. Definitely not worth it to go for the extension, but that was hard. It's a hard to predict one because Lau definitely had time for that extension, but man did they not get the colors. And every time that happens, it just kind of crushes my soul. It's like the play could have been there. It was right there, but the game really just said no. Oh no. Lau needs to notice this. If you notice, Ryder kind of plundered their purple. And all Lau needs to do is set off their fortune. And just barely gets it. However, Ryder's chain is kind of ready. Or Ryder's chain is kind of ready, but they aren't able to rebuild it in time. That is a very rough position to be in. Kind of like your tail's already kind of set up, but you have to rebuild your extensions, so you kind of have to make trash Puyo placements. Or you just kind of have to place the Puyos you don't want. And that's just always a rough. Just like when you can't build onto your tail when you get Puyos you don't need. And even then, like, Ryder's chain is just like, oh man, speaking is hard. I'm like trying to like assess the situation. Oh, okay. Wow, that looked like it was a bad cut. It actually ended up making Ryder's chain stronger. Kind of just a chain versus chain right now. Wow, with a very nice tail though. Yeah, Ryder needs to step up these harassments. Lau is seems to be a very strong chainer, and Ryder can't just set off their chain willy-nilly. They don't have, their chaining power isn't that strong. It isn't strong enough to where, I mean, your opponent, it's not strong enough where you can just fool around, really. It looks like Ryder is playing for a chain game, though. I don't see many opportunities for Ryder to attack, but other than really compromising the integrity of their chain, this red is going to be pretty difficult to deal with. Does end up dealing with it, but problem was is they did have to deal with it without any opportunities of extensions. So this is actually going to end up letting Lao take the win. Yeah, Ryder making
That was perfect.
that's a tough call for Ryder. Using a harassment but having it compromise you're really just like kind of just making your chain unusable at that point. That's just how much needed to be repaired. The problem was is like it wouldn't even be like a game changer kind of attack. It would kind of just poke, so it was very diggable. And both players just kind of setting off their chains at the same time. And Ryder having a strong attack. But had a lot of power. And Ryder. Both player Lao and Ryder really trading rounds. It's definitely an even match. I'm excited to see where this goes. It's really just... While Ryder is a strong chainer, Ryder tends to make risky harassment plays that Lao can deal with. Oh, wow. You know, never mind. Ryder... Well, looking like was a harassment. Ryder actually went with a full chain. And Lao's tail just is not strong enough. Ryder bringing this to match point. Lao's looking to be in a pretty, like, despite being a 9-7, Lao still feels like they're in a tough spot. Because every time Ryder is outchained Lao, they've done it much more often than Lao is outchained Ryder. Oh, Lao is definitely making a mistake, just setting off their chain. Ryder is going to outchain that. With their strong tail, their strong tail is just able to take out Lao and takes the set. It was a very interesting game. I definitely feel like Lao should have went for attacks more, seeing as Ryder had some very strong chaining, but very well played. That was good. I always feel weird just like saying how a player could win. Despite not being the greatest player myself. Yeah, since I just say it and it almost feels rude. But that is silver bracket. I hope you enjoyed the stream despite a background noise, but no one seems to have pointed it out, so it's probably fine. But anyways, that'll be enough for my stream. Is juice still going on? What is not? Unless there's like... Yeah, I don't know. Alright, well... those were some fun games. I felt like there was a lot of like really close matches I saw. Or matches felt a lot closer than they usually do, especially in pools. Pools you generally see a lot of just straight up beatdowns, but there was a lot of like just close matches. Great stream, thank you. Means a lot. Means a lot. But anyways, that's all for me. If you can find Juice's stream. I actually don't know if it's still going on. I believe they're streaming Gold Bracket. I don't see them on YouTube. Unless this is the wrong one. But I'll refer those who are still interested in Carbuncles Corner to Juice. I'm just seeing if I can find the stream. I saw they were having some issues. Nope, seems like their stream's ended, so not really any other streams to look at, but rip stream, yeah. Alright, well, I mean, if there is more matches, I don't know. I'm a bit exhausted from streaming, so I don't think I could take more games to commentate. But yeah, that's all for me. Enough yammering, and